Panther people, what up? That game against the Seahawks was drunk. Is it bad that I kind of enjoyed it? What up? The Carolina Panthers lose 37-27 at Lumen Field in Seattle against the Seattle Seahawks. They always play them tough. But I got to say, the Carolina Panthers are 0-3 for the first time since 2010. Let's talk about the good, the kind of fun and weird, the bad, and the really ugly. All right? Let's talk about the good. Everybody and their mom and uncle and cat thought that the Carolina Panthers were going to get blown out in the Pacific Northwest because first overall pick Bryce Young was not going to be playing. It's going to be friggin' Andy Dalton at the helm. We thought, this guy's old. He's been in the league for 11 years. But guess what? He's not the red rifle, everybody. He is the red machine gun. Dude threw 58 times. He was 34 or 58. I think the most amount of throws he ever threw in a pass was 36. So that is ridiculous. He is the red machine gun just firing off on all cylinders. And honestly, it felt like a cornered animal, like Gunslinger in the cowboy movie, in those Western movies. Just he got one last ride. Most likely going to start next week, though. One last ride, and he's just going to be emptying out the clip. And it felt like Andy Dalton was playing like that. Dude had designed runs. He was doing, run pass options and choosing to run himself. He was running for first downs, doing the Cam Newton bang like this. He was just throwing no look passes. He was just slinging the ball all over the place. And honestly, these are things that I hadn't seen from Bryce Young yet. I may have said this previously. Bryce Young as a character is a very nice guy. He's a very smart guy, almost too smart. It's almost like he's waiting for the absolute perfect time to take the ball to the. I know he's got capital anticipation at times, but it's almost like he is waiting for the exact right time when a guy's completely open. But the NFL, being open's like this. You're open. And I know he throws anticipation most of the time, but when guys aren't open, and we've seen it last 2 weeks, obviously it's the first 2 weeks of his NFL career, but guys aren't open, he's not throwing to them. He's just not. And so he's running it himself, or he's dumping off to the running back. But Andy Dalton, he's like, F it. This could be my last game starting ever. Bang, flinging it, throwing guys open. Guys are covered, I don't care, chucking it, and guys are making plays. Guys are doing what they're supposed to be doing. DJ Chark is the burner guy. You know, he had a burner touchdown for himself. His first touchdown as a Carolina Panther. Adam Thielen was the guy who's going up the middle, getting smacked around by defensive backs and safeties. He's that guy. He's the moving the chains guy. That's what's going down. And then the dump off guys are the running backs and Hayden Hurst, if you ever found them. They didn't have much action on both sides in terms of rushing and receiving, in terms of the running backs. But it was kind of nice as a guy who's 37 years old, and I'm not on my last legs in my career, but I could see how, he's kind of been the backup for, a third of his career now. And here he is out there, and mind you, he wasn't the Saints. So he was playing for the Saints. But he was kind of seen as a backup for a third of his career right now. And here he is, starting in what always is a playoff-like atmosphere in Seattle. And he just played with this reckless abandon that I love and have not seen yet with Bryce Young because he's a rookie. He's trying not to make those mistakes. There's all that pressure. There's no pressure on Andy Dalton. This is not a Super Bowl team right now. And here he is just slinging it, having fun. The commentator said that he spoke to them for an hour and a half. So it looked like he was having fun. And because he was having fun, despite the fact that the Panthers were losing, not even by much, I was having a good time. I really was. Kiaquanu, who's played in Seattle before, I'll start 4 times. He even said that was ridiculous, and that is ridiculous, especially this is your second time playing in Seattle. It should not be new to you. So that was weird, and he has kind of escaped some pressure in the first 2 weeks. Obviously, the preseason was the preseason. He had some pressure there, saying that he may have regressed a little bit. This doesn't help those people who want to see others fail, but he'll bounce back. Passing 58 times. Who the hell passes 58 times? Geno Smith passed 36 times. Andy Dalton had 34 completions. Geno Smith threw 36 times. They got to ice the Red Rocket shoulder. But why are you not running 44 yards rushing? You paid Miles Sanders. You kept Chuba Hubbard. You have Laviska Shenault, who we've been talking about in the offseason, that this is a guy who could be your Deebo Samuel. He is returning kickoff and punts right now. And why is he not running the ball? He is bigger than both Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard. Why is he not running the ball? Like, Miles Sanders had 24 yards rushing on 9 rushes. Andy Dalton had 11 yards rushing on 2. What is going on right now? And this is against a team like who had Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, and DJ Dallas. 3 guys who are just big, stocky, hard-running, fast dudes. Whereas the Carolina Panthers have 2 guys who are just kind of pedestrian built. And I know Miles Sanders had that one great run and then got hurt, but he's back now, which is good. But he and Chuba are kind of built the same, and they're not intimidating physically. And I feel like the Seattle Seahawks, they just got Marshawn Lynch. They figured, hey, that works, and then just cloned him 3 times in those three running backs in Charbonnet, Walker, and Dallas. And I would kill for one of those guys, one of them, just to be a part of the rotation. Frank Reich said that the reason why they threw that much, and he even quoted in saying, he said in the press conference after that, you don't go to Seattle and look to win by throwing it 58 times, but he said the running game was non-existent. It wasn't non-existent because you're playing the Seattle Seahawks defense that won the Super Bowl, which they were commemorating today. You just do they just not have the personnel? Like, first we're focused on the wide receivers, like, oh, they're not great. Now are we looking at the running backs? We're like, oh, these guys are no good. Like, pick them in. Like, everyone's looking at Kareem Hunt to maybe be an addition to the team, but the Browns already picked him up, so he's been there. He was waiting. He was on the couch. Could have picked up someone like Kareem Hunt, but no, I think he would have had some pop to the team. Look at the Browns; they blew out the Tennessee Titans. You know, it's like they haven't really skipped a beat after losing their marquee running back. It looks soft. I'm going to say it. Now, obviously, they had some injuries. Frankie Louvu had a hip injury. C.J. Henderson out with an ankle. So now we've lost J.C. Horn for a couple games with a hammy. He's getting a special procedure done. So whatever that is, make sure it works. I like it. And now C.J. Henderson, who's backing him up, this was supposed to be his time. This was supposed to be C.J. Henderson's time to make the most out of the opportunity. He tweaks his ankle. He's out. And so that's a bummer for him. Again, it sucks to say, but your best ability is availability. And if he's not available, what the hell is he doing here right now? Honestly, it's just making me sad. And then who else got it? Who else was out? Xavier Woods was out as well with a hamstring injury. That kind of happens when it's kind of cool and rainy and blah outside. And also, I don't know who the Carolina Panthers strength and conditioning coach is, but guys' hammies are just aren't strong. What the hell is going on? That's 2 defensive backs. I know it only happens to fast guys, but 2 defensive backs with ham injuries, figure that out. So the defense was hampered, but I thought Deion Jones played great after being activated to the 53-man roster. He had an interception. I thought, who else who played? Obviously, I saw Yetur Gross-Matos continues to play pretty well. He's pretty consistent. He's always a bit of a factor. Brian Burns, again, with a sack and a half, I think. Brian Burns. Camu Grieger-Hill with 7 solo tackles, 10 total tackles. Brian Burns, 4 total tackles, 1 sack, 3 tackles for loss. That led the team. And so Brian Burns doing his thing. Can I just look at Jeremy Chin? I know Jeremy Chin got cooked. Jeremy Chin, 5 tackles. All right. So Jeremy Chin, I don't know if you guys saw that one spinorama by DJ Dallas, just destroyed Jeremy Chin and put him in a blender, and it was very sad to see. But I'm not picking on Jeremy Chin. I'm just saying if we had to trade somebody on the defense, it'd be him. Hey, they scored 27 points. What did Frank Reich say last week? Oh, I could totally see this. This team is not that far away from scoring 27, 38 points a week. So you got that part. They're starting to gel a little bit. They held tight throughout the entire game until the very bitter end. But it does seem like there's a little bit more of a gelling happening, and guys are starting to get the offense a little bit more. It takes some time. It's too bad it's not with Bryce Young. I want Bryce Young to be a part of it. I want him to grow. Maybe he plays next week. It's only an ankle. There's no noticeable limp. People are figuring that out. So, you know, I don't want him to rush him at the same time, but I also want him to learn. And I think a Minnesota Vikings defense is a good team to do that at home again. Maybe not on Monday night. You know, nice 1:00 Eastern kickoff. Not too much pressure. Just go out there, have some fun, sling it. You learn some things from Andy Dalton. Just don't be so worried about making mistakes. That's what being a rookie is all about. And so just do it. Just do it. Not as good as I thought it was. But I think we have the right base. Might be weird. Let me know in the comments.